Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you guys are doing well as always, and today we'll be taking a look at another deck you can build in set 15, which is Minerva. Minerva is definitely one of my favorite cards back in the days as I have a lot of success with it. Not gonna lie, I am kinda disappointed with Minerva in Zero as I really have high expectation for it, but it just doesn't feel as good as I thought. By no means am I saying it's a bad deck, it's just alright, nothing too amazing about it. Of course, if you like Genesis, you should definitely give it a shot, but if you are looking for a good deck to climb rank with, I would not recommend Minerva as there is better option out there. So before you decide whether if you should build it or not, first, let's take a look at the deck list. Okay, so here's the list. Again, it's another expensive deck, but not all the triple red in this deck is needed. I will have some alternative for you to play as I explain the deck list, but first, we should take a look at what Minerva actually does. So, Limit Break for once per turn, when this unit attack, it gains the following ability. At the end of the battle, Soul Blast 3 Counter Blast 1 and discard 2 cards from your hand to stand this unit, and of course you do draw 2 cards and it gains 5000 power. And the second skill is Soul Blast 3 to gain 5000 power, and the last one is just the Cross Ride. It's definitely good that Genesis received a restand Vanguard, but the issue is there isn't any good combo to pair it with the restand, but we did receive a really good break ride, which is Angelica. The break ride is good because you can add cards to your hand, which is crucial since Genesis isn't a clan that draw much, and you also need to discard cards from your hand to stand Minerva. And why did I say Genesis is not a clan that draw much? That's because most of the time, the trigger build you will be running is 9 crits. Rarely you will run 9 draw as you just deck out. I do run 4 Fortuna and 1 Yatagarasu, but if I have 4, I will run 4 instead. Don't worry if you don't have any of those triple rare, as you can play other cards like Himiko as a backup break ride. Eternal Goddess is a good option as well, but the best budget option will be the Unlocker. Next, for the grade 2, we run 4 Chamomile, which is the most important card in the deck as it will grant you more attacks in the battle phase. We do run 4 Sahohime and 4 Grappa and 1 of her. I do feel like the grade 2 slot is much tighter as there really isn't better alternatives since all of those grade 2 play an important role. As for the grade 1, we got 4 Melissa, which is also really important, 4 PG needless to say, 2 Valencia, and 3 Sidor. This is a really good card as you can put cards on board into the soul when it got retired. As for the starter, I did decide to go with Cinnamon as I feel that the new starter we receive isn't as consistent since you can soul charge trigger and you might even deck out too, depends on your trigger build. I do feel like the grade 3 Researcher is a good option as well since you want to ride your break ride as your first grade 3 Vanguard. So I guess this pretty much sums up for the deck list. What you want to do with this deck is to make multiple attacks. I will have a total of 3 games in this video using different trigger build as I do want to show you guys the difference and how it affects the deck. The first game will be against Liberator followed by Blouse and Kagero. I will have the timestamp of each game in the description down below for you to choose which one to watch, but I do highly recommend watching all 3 as they are all very different. So is Minerva a deck that is worth building? Let's find out. Okay, so for the first game will be against Liberator, and this game, the trigger build I will be using is 9 crits. So this one is alright I guess because the ideal grade 1 and grade 2 ride is your Melissa and Chamomile, and the grade 3 you want to look for is your break ride followed by Minerva. So this one is really solid. We have a set of, we have 2 sets of Melissa plus Chamomile, and the good thing is we did top deck the Cider, that means we can put those Chamomile and Melissa from our board to the soul later on, which is really good, as they are one of the main components or key pieces you need to win in general when you're playing Genesis. And the interesting thing is my opponent is not playing Vanguard as his starter. And here, still did not find our break ride or even Minerva. But if you don't have those 2 as your first ride, I feel like the grade 3 that I just drew just now is a good option as well since you can rack up your soul. But if you go for your Fortuna as the first ride, then you might actually struggle a bit since Fortuna don't have really much soul charge mechanic. So here my opponent is really aggressive, but he will need a trigger to actually push 3 damage, and we did get a defensive trigger, so that's pretty lucky of us. And if we don't get a trigger here, we are gonna be looking at a pretty good position. And no trigger, that's good. That means he pretty much pushed no damage this turn. Too bad for him. And no break ride unfortunately, but we did have another good ride, so it's not that bad. And here, a misplay as you see. I didn't call my Sidle. And the another awkward thing is when you're playing crit, sometimes you want to swing your Vanguard to the rearguard and you don't want to check crit. So here, I wasted a crit. And why do you want to swing your Vanguard at the rearguard? Because you want your on hit soul charge 3 to hit the Vanguard. Otherwise you can't soul charge since it need to hit the Vanguard. And here I also have 3 Melissa and 1 Chamomile, which is not too bad. Because all you need is 3 of any of those cards to make 5 attacks in a turn. But if you have Minerva, then you can make 6 attacks. But the issue is, with Genesis, you can't really close the game from 3. So you do want to try to push your opponent from to 4 or even 5 and then close the game. Because if you're closing the game from 3 damage, your opponent might just get a defensive trigger and then shut down all of your columns, and you do not want that. And here we did top deck our break ride, so the override is very tempting, not gonna lie. But at the same time, I just need 2 more soul and then I can use this effect. So here, you did see I decided to skip and not ride it, because if you think about it, if I ride it, my hand is gonna be really small, and that's the issue with running 9 crits. Most of the time, your hand size is gonna be like 1 or 2 or even 0 sometimes. And you're playing 9 crits, your turn 1 and turn 2 game, your turn 1 and turn 2 turn are going to be really slow, because you do not want to call rearguards down, especially grade 2s. Because if your opponent attack your rearguards, and in the late game, if they have 2 intercepts and you do have enough rearguard to clear the intercept, that means your Vanguard can't hit their Vanguard, and if you check a crit, it's a wasted trigger. So here my opponent hand size is really low as well, mainly because he didn't really check much draw trigger, so that's pretty good for us. And here, he just revealed that his hand is 0, that means he have no PG, so we can potentially close the game up with not Minerva. And you notice I don't say my Vanguard name because her name is really long and sometimes I just forgot her name. And here we did draw a grade 2, which is pretty good I guess, but the one we are looking for is a grade 1 because we want to boost our Vanguard. So here I can use the Vanguard ability, which is stand 2 rearguards and gain +2 critical. But if I swing my Vanguard first, I can't finish off my opponent here. So I feel like I should swing a rearguard into his Vanguard, and then his Vanguard will become a 16k power. And then if I can get a trigger, I will just win the game. But it's a risky approach because if we get a trigger, we might just lose the game here. Okay, so here you can see I'm going for the riskier approach. Finger crossed you don't get a trigger. That sucks. And also he played criticals, that means it's not a 9 draw, that is why his hand is so low. So I'm just gonna Soul Blast 9. And because you get a trigger, I don't think it's necessary to make 2 new columns, but at the same time, since 2 of my front row is grade 3, I do want to secure some intercepts. And here we did draw 2 critical trigger, that really sucks. Okay, so here, you're gonna see, I'm just gonna use all of the skill that I actually Soul Blast with, which is my Melissa and Chamomile. So I highly doubt I can close the game here because we will need 2 trigger, and since we just draw 2, there's no way 4 triggers stack together. So pretty much I think I'm just gonna push 1 more damage. Yep, because there really isn't much we can do. But the good thing is we can put into 4, and since he has no card in his hand, he can't break right unless he top deck. So finger crossed he don't. Okay. He is not going into his main phase, that means he's probably draw a grade 3. So I'm hoping he draw a grade 3 that doesn't turn the game around, because here I'm looking at his grade 3, he run Gamma and Alfred and Gunslot. So as long as you don't top that Gamma, we should be fine, because any other grade 3, his bot will be decent enough for us to survive. Okay, now that is top deck that I do not want to see. But the good thing is, if he don't get Blaster Blade. Actually, he can search his Blaster Blade. Okay, as long as he don't get Balan, then we can survive because we got 2 intercepts. But he played crit as well. Okay, not looking too good here. Not looking too good. He played a lot of crits. His Gamma is crit, his Gunstorm is crit. How many crits he played, I have no idea, to be honest. So here, let's see what he caught. Okay, top 4 card, no trigger. That is not looking good. That is not looking good. And here I think he did a misplay because with his S card, he can potentially close the game. Actually, he can close the game. He misplayed. He just swing his Vanguard to my rear guard. And then his S card can make a new column. That's on him, guys. That is on him. And here you can see, I'm going into my Minerva because I have no more Knife, so that means I can't use the current Vanguard skill at the moment. And Minerva only needs to Soul Blast 3, which is pretty cheap in my opinion, and 1 Counter Blast. And here you can see, because I don't want draw, that means I can't have my hand size at 1 and pray for a draw trigger. So every time when you want to use Minerva skill, you have to have at least 2 cards in your hand. And here I'm thinking to use his second skill, her second skill, which is the Soul Blast 3, so that I can get attacker in the front row, but I realized I only have 5 soul, that means I can't do that. So here, I'm praying for a critical trigger because the crit here will be really good. Okay, we did get it. So, critical trigger is really good in Minerva because it can stand. And it works super well when your opponent is at 4 damage. So that's the good point about crit. But then again, your hand size is going to be really low if you don't write your first Great Tree Vanguard as your Angelica. So here, we can make another attack because we can use Chamomile skill and Superior Core and replace our Grade 2. So his hand is only 1, that means he can't survive since he will need a total of 2 PG unless he can get a defensive trigger, including if he have a PG here. But since we get a trigger, that means he is dead regardless, and there's no way he's surviving this since our Vanguard have 4 criticals. And yeah, I guess that's game. And judging from his deck, I think he's running 9 crits. So pretty fair game if you ask me, 9 crits versus 9 crit. And I feel like you guys can see the issue with this deck with 9 crits, right? Hand size really low, early game really weak, and that's about it. So I guess this concludes game 1, so now let's take a look at game 2. Okay, second game will be against Blau, and the trigger build for this game will be 9 draw. Okay, now this hand looks way better compared to our first game. Actually, it's not that big of a difference. The only difference is our grade 3. So here, against Blau, a deck that can one-shot you, and a deck that will keep you at 3 damage, which is gonna be tough. So the good thing about Night Draw is we can be aggressive in the early game, and I think that is the game plan against Blau. Otherwise, I can't really see an option to win unless they miss their break right. Okay, so again, Chamomile will be our grade 2, right? And I'm just gonna call my on hit Soul Charge 3 to get me 3 souls. So let's see what we Soul Charge. We did Soul Charge a Melissa, so that's pretty good in my opinion. And we check a draw, which is good as well. So if you're running 9 draw, I don't recommend running for Fortuna because Fortuna only shine if you are playing 9 crits. And draw will of course increase the value of Cider, since you have more cards to Soul Charge into the soul. So here, we are probably going to go to 2 unless he get a trigger. Okay, he did get it, but I can only choose 1. Either his starter skill or push me to 3 damage. So let's see what's he gonna use. Okay, starter skill. So probably looking for a grade 3, otherwise I feel like the 3rd damage is better. And he did not get it, that's good. So now we are only missing our Minerva. But the good thing is we are running 9 draw, so the odds of us drawing is pretty high, especially since we still have time. But the bad thing is we don't have a grade 2, so we probably need to call a grade 1 column. And because of that, I might just... You know what, I'm not going to call my Cider just yet, because Cider work better if you have grade 2, because if you call my Cider down here, he might not even attack my rearguard. But if it's a grade 2, he don't really have a choice. Okay, no trigger there. Definitely not something you want to see, especially we are running 9 draw, and even with 9 draw, our hand is still looking really small. Okay, finger crossed, hope he don't have his break right. Okay, that's good. And interesting to see he's playing Stun Blau Cougar, which is the first generation of Blau. So I'm starting to see a little bit hope here, because against Blau, the odds of you winning is really low. Okay, so here I'm hoping he don't get a trigger because I want my rearguard to survive, but he did get it. And he give it to his rearguard, that means he's probably not gonna stand his Vanguard, since I highly doubt he want to give me 4 damage. But the good thing is, we can't even break right, so if you don't want to give us 4 damage, that's pretty good for us. Okay, come on, I need attackers. Oh, Minerva. That's good, that's good. So I'm just gonna attack 2 of his grade 2s because we really have no other attackers, which is kinda sad. But the next turn will be a pretty explosive turn, if you ask me. And here, not too much trigger left in our deck. We do have 4 heals in our deck, which is really good. And it can come in really handy in the late game, especially my opponent is pushing me probably to 5 damage this turn. And depends how many PG he have. We might lose, it's hard to say. Because like I say, you want your opponent at 4 or even 5 and then go for the break, right? So 3 damage will be tough to close the game. And it's weird he actually hit my Melissa, because he just put it into the soul for me. And so for the combo, for 6 attack, you do need 4 combo plus. 1 for Minerva to restand, and 3 for 2, and 2 for Chamomile, and 1 Melissa. So keep that in mind. I do really like the animation of this, so props to the game. So just gonna Soul Blast 3. I'm not gonna Soul Blast my Melissa or Chamomile yet, because those are cards you want to Soul Blast in the battle phase. So you want to Soul Blast cards that can give you more soul. I'm just gonna get Great Tools. Why not? You do not want to get Heal Trigger, obviously. Holy shit, we just sold out 3 heal trigger in a row, damn. Okay, 4 heal and 10 cards in our deck, so even if we don't close the game this turn, we can probably survive, to be honest. Okay, finger crossed. Let's hope he don't get any trigger, because if he don't get any trigger, we might win this turn. Because he will need 3 PG to survive. A heal, that's good. That is good. We can give it to our Grade 1 boost, which haven't even boosted yet. No trigger, that's good. Because Melissa plus Chamomile column is 22. That means he can hit through an opponent defensive trigger or even 2 damage. Okay, so now just gonna set up our columns. Sadly, we don't have another Chamomile, but it's alright. Because I feel like we need to kill him this turn, otherwise we are dead. I highly doubt we can survive a Blau Cougar turn. Especially if we only got 1 Grade 2 in our front row. Okay. He will need a third PG to survive, and there's one in his damage zone, so finger crossed, hope he don't have it. And there's a disconnect there. Oh, double heal, what a waste. What a waste. And he don't have it, that is a freaking close game, because if he survives there, we will be dead. And no heal. And I guess this concludes game 2. And I do feel like 9 draw feels a little bit better than 9 quits, judging from the gameplay. But before you decide what is the right trigger build for yourself, we should take a look at the final game where I use a trigger build that is 5 quit and 4 draw, so it's half-half. Okay, final game against Kagero. So Kagero is a clan that can burn your rearguard. That means our Cider will come in handy. And against a clan that burn your rearguard, I do feel like 9 draw will be a better option. But since we are debating what trigger build to go, I feel like half-half is a good point to stand first or even test the deck out first. But if you want consistency, I do recommend 9 draw. Burst power, this will be the trigger build I recommend because there's a chance you get a crit. If you don't, it's fine. Okay, let's see. What's he gonna search? Dauntless or DN? Ooh. He just got the Great Tree where he can Superior Ride with. But that includes if he have all the necessary cards in his hand. Okay, draw. Not a bad start. And that's 1 PG down, that's good to see. So let's see, can he Superior Ride? Oh my god, he got Striken. Oh no, he can, and he have the perfect combo pieces in his hand. And it's not gonna be looking too good for us. And his Cruel Dragon is critical trigger as well, that's interesting. So I have no clue his trigger build, probably not. 9 draw, maybe 5 crits. Okay, 1 critical wasted. Okay, a draw. Interesting. And they played Dauntless Reverse as well, and that is SP1, which looks pretty good in my opinion. Okay, again, not looking too good for us, but we did, never mind, our hand already have Chamomile, so that's fine. Okay, so let's just counter push a little bit. Don't want to fall too far behind. Okay, look like he is going straight into the Great Fall, which I don't want to see because the bad thing about the Break Ride is it's going to struggle against 13k. Since the Soul Charge only plus 1k, not 2k, that means our Vanguard is only 12k attacker. Not good. And also, you have to attack a Vanguard to get the 1 extra soul. Okay, that trigger just saved my ass. Hopefully he don't get anything because I don't want to go to 5 damage. No, that's bad. Okay, not looking too good. It's gonna be really tough to win 2 to 5, and they have 2 intercepts and 2 PG in our damage zone. We need to rely on our heal trigger to win, to be honest. But at least with the top deck, Siler is really good because we got 2 great tools that work really well in Soul. So I guess I need to try that Minerva and try to close the game from 3 again, which is gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough unless we check critical. Oh, heal, that's good, that's what we need, that's what we need. And luckily, we didn't attack our Vanguard into his Vanguard, otherwise we would Soul Charge our heal, but we wouldn't know for sure, right? So we kinda get lucky there. But then again, against 13k base, it's really hard to close the game from 3 because our column is 22. With Melissa and Chamomile, and he after taking 2 damage he'll be at 23. So highly doubt I can win next turn, so somehow I need to find a way to survive another turn. Okay, no trigger there, that's good to see, that's good to see. Oh, that draw! Into a Minerva, wow! That draw just saved our ass. I think we should go for it, yep. Don't have much of a choice here, to be honest. So let's see, can Minerva carry us in this game? Okay, remember to keep all of your camomiles in the soul first until you go into your battle phase. So here, I feel like grade 1 and grade 2 is fine, yep. We do need Melissa in our soul because we have 3 camomiles. That means we can't replace a booster. And against 13k base, most of the time, your either left or right column need a boost to actually hit his Vanguard. Okay, so we really need to rely on critical to actually win this game. Because if he only have 1 PG, I'm confident we can win. Okay, a heal that's pretty good. Okay, you can see why I give my power to my grade 1, right? Because if I don't do that, my Chamomile can't attack. And another reason why I don't give it to my Vanguard is because I don't want his Vanguard to go into a 28k power. Because if that happens, I will need another trigger. So now I just need to check a critical, make him drop PG, and then I might put him or make him stay at 4 damage. It really depends. So let's see. And also, since we stand, we gain the extra 5k. So there's no reason to give the power into our Vanguard. Okay, no trigger, that sucks. But I think we can survive because of the heal trigger. Because he will need to burn 2 of my grade 2s to actually kill me off here. And I'm just gonna say this, Genesis is not a deck to pilot it well or even properly. You need practice. And here you have no grade 2, so that means if we can survive this turn, I'm pretty sure we are gonna win. And I'm really confident we can survive without doubt. So I guess the heal doesn't really matter since he don't have any cards that can burn my grade 2s anyway. And this guy, I guess he don't run any DN or Overlord since he have Thunders and the reverse version in grade 4. Okay, looking pretty good here, our hand. And we have 2 Cow Blasts and we got 1 Chamomile. The Chamomile won't do much in my opinion because I don't have Melissa. And even if I just replace a Rearguard, it can't even attack the Vanguard. So here, I need to hope we don't have an RPG because after we stand we can hit through his Vanguard. Otherwise a trigger here would be nice as well, but we did not get it. Actually, if I get a trigger here, we will just win the game even if his hand is a PG because our Melissa just need 1 trigger to hit through his Vanguard. And I'm pretty sure we have 1 trigger left in our 6 card deck. So let's see, can we get a trigger here? Nice, we did get it and it's a critical. That means if you have no PG, we should win the game here. Nice. So, to me this is a comeback game. Early game we are really far behind and somehow we managed to win. So, props on us for that. And I guess this concludes the whole deck guide video. So in my opinion, Minerva is actually a fun deck to play. Not the best deck for rank. But again, if you are a fan of Genesis, I do recommend you guys to give it a shot. And also, make sure to leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts about this deck or even Minerva in general. Is this deck really worth building or will you give it a pass? And yeah, I guess this should be it. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for next video. Goodbye.